Welcome back to Rasta's Realities, where my reality is your reality, and the reality is you are here with me when you could be any other place in the city. This channel contains truths, entertaining truths. Just because it's entertaining doesn't mean that it ain't true. Everything that I talk about is from experience and all things that I have seen in my professional and my personal life. Like, share, subscribe, comment down below if the video speaks to you. Thank you for tuning in. Let's go. Generally, when we hear what a father, mother, and or either, as some of us did not have both in the household, and there's certain expectations of their children, whether it's vocally expressed and or shown as we're supposed to lead by example. Some of us had some family member express what their expectations were for the younger members of the family. These same folk do not have an issue expressing any disappointment when said expectations weren't met. Sometimes the proper tools aren't given to aid in the achievement of the expected or corrective actions. We can neglect to properly provide tools according to the specific needs of the child or children, and then display anger when that child or children do not meet certain expectations. This is a failure to plan on the part of the adults and or the lack of foresight. It is critical to foresee bumps one may encounter not only in our lives but as well as others. My foresight perception is sharp as a Ginzu, and rightfully so, being any type of a supervisory figure. Everything I've ever done in life chose me, with the exception of consciously doing wrong. So here's an in-depth look into my childhood to adulthood and the impact that my family had on my purpose in the whole nutshell. I grew up in Inglewood, in Chicago, in a gray stone building on 65th and University. I was surrounded by family, friends, and associates that were identical to family in many regards. The building we lived in was rat and roach infested, despite weekly bombings of the apartment to provide some pest-free environment. The heat sometimes worked, sometimes it did not work. The windows were crap, they were old. We boiled water to take hot baths. At times, we boiled water to have some humidity, to humidify the apartment while warming the apartment. In addition to having the stove on, which, as we all know, that's bad for business when it comes to your body when you're using your stove for heat. And my mom's way of countering that was to boil water also. Now, my granny and uncle lived in the same building, but on the Marquette Road side. I had an aunt that lived on 48th and Ellis, I believe that was, with her husband. My other uncle was doing him on the west side, from my knowledge. But no matter how far apart my family lived, we always had what this generation will never, ever have. And that is annual dinners as a family, minus the television and cell phones, and reunions, traveling to Arkansas, Michigan, etc. I remember assisting my granny preparing meals in this metal sectional container. It was like layers to it, and we ate well, both hot and cold meals on the go, while going to the reunion locations. Shout out to you, Gustavia Scott, my granny. I love you so much. Memories of my father early on was memorable despite the memories being far and few between, which made moments with him precious, as if I'd never see him again, of which I took full advantage of. My mom would badmouth this wonderful man, as I'm sure she had her reasons for, and despite her sentiments towards my dad, I loved and still do to this day. I remember my dad coming over to 6559 South University to visit and presenting me with a little dough and toys. And as quickly as he appeared, he disappeared. Then I became old enough to begin exploring the streets, as we've all had the pleasure and displeasure of doing. It was at this time that I frequented the area that my mom said my dad was at, hopefully to run into him. Eventually, I found him, and upon doing so, I discovered my siblings on his side of the family. Much later, I had two sisters and two brothers on my dad's side. I was riding the silver lining of a cloud knowing that I had siblings on my dad's side, especially to have sisters, something that I've always wanted. My mom had three boys, my granny two boys and two girls. My elder sister was my world, but she did not know that, as she was busy living her life. I wanted to be around her all of the time to learn and learn some more. Fast forward to my graduation of grammar school. I attended Alexander Dumas, but graduated from Andrew Carnegie. The graduation was to be at the very high school I would end up attending, Hyde Park Career Academy. Surprisingly, my dad was there. I cannot definitively say he was in the auditorium, but upon the conclusion of the ceremony, he was outside waiting in his vehicle. I was extremely enthused to have him there, as he had missed so many other moments. I cannot remember if he stated whether he was proud of me or not, but he gave me a brick of firecrackers and $20, which meant the world to me. Then he turned my world upside down when he mentioned that he did not graduate from grammar school. In fact, did not make it out of the third grade. At the time, the info did not register on what he was really saying, which was his way. I know now that he was proud of me. I also remember asking him during a visit to his place for $2 out of this gigantic knot of cash, and he gave me this look that I couldn't explain and said, "No, but you can work for it." Being honest, it infuriated me. Infuriated me. Yeah, that word. As my mind was like, "You're my dad. Why not?" No, I did not question his decision, as respect was still prevalent in those days as opposed to this generation. Upon stewing on his stinging words, I surely got a job delivering newspapers, discussed in my video, I believe, Renaissance Man. Check it out. Basically, I went into high school with a job, even though I never planned on. As I stated earlier, every position I've ever held chose me. I just made the best of it, like our living situations on university. That started my career off with a bang, and I kept a job from then until the current position of a supervisor in various areas in the greater Chicago area. Recently, when speaking with my dad for over 2 hours, he said to me words that every man child wants to hear from his pops. And those words were, "I'm proud of you." At that recent moment of hearing those words, that some of us do not hear, was like hearing Thaddeus Scott. We're from Publishing Clearinghouse, and you have won whatever amount of money pictured on the big check. And my ears started ringing. I felt my neck get hot and was warm in my chest region. Not to mention the huge Kool-Aid smile on my face. I could have died right then, and that wouldn't, and I wouldn't even cared. All said, my granny aunt expressed their expectations, and when I deviated doing what kids, young adults do, they reprimanded me to the point it was embarrassing, no matter the minor or the major infraction. The same with my mom. But for some reason, it was my dad's validation that meant the most. To hear him recently ask for pictures of my two boys and myself was refreshing to hear, as he's down south. I originally was going to send about 10 to 15 pics. I ended up sending over 200. Various moments of achievement, various moments of achievements within my life, including fatherhood and beating my dad at various things he did not do. Yes, I beat my dad academically, both grammar and high school. I was winning on all fronts. Just know, competition comes in various forms, and it's not about beating another so much as achievement in one's own life. I combined expectations from both sides of the family and did the work. Check out my video doing the work here on YouTube. I'll close on this. It doesn't matter whom we did not have or did. It only matters what drives us towards purposeful success and achieving as much as possible in this short time above ground. Make it happen. Don't get caught lacking. Slacking. Get it cracking. Which, by the way, means your macking will be elite. From the bed to your feet, praising He that grants you a place in history. I am Rastel Kilbomani, signing off until next time. Peace to you.